Okay, good morning. This is Simon with ToughTrader.com and Trading Perform Coaching doing the live market preview for the 5th of February, post-Friday crash day, and looks like we're started off to an ugly start today. So let's go over a couple of things before we get started. Past performance is not indicative of future results, right? Trading futures is risky. You can lose a lot of money. Make sure you have a risk management plan. Please don't blow yourself up. Don't do it. It's not necessary. If you don't have an edge, stop trading till you find one, right? Let's see. This is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing my trade plan with the idea that it'll help you out in the long run, right? I do a combination of scalping and intraday swing trading. That's my objective. And you have to find where you fit within that mold to trade. So a couple of warnings. First of all, NQ will be rough today. The stops are big, right? Just be prepared for it to really push against you and to really go fast, like up and down 20 points within 5 minutes would not shock me today on markets. The open will be harder than everything else. Last week we had one open where the NQ fell off 20 points in the first 30 seconds of trading. Okay, so you must be prepared for that possibility. Okay, I think ES will be easier to trade. The Russell, same warning as last week. If it gets a liquid, right? If it gets a liquid, let me close this down here real quick. If it gets a liquid, it can go vertical. Either way, so that's the risk. The white zones worked on Friday, but I am not trading Russell today. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this, and I'm just going to go over the key larger areas. I'm going to start from the weekly, although I put them in detailed notes on the. I put it in detailed notes on the Twitter feed, but I'm going to go through it one more time. My primary objective is to get above or below my last best seller. I want to see, so let's take a chart of things I want to see on a reversal. Okay, let's just grab a new chart here real quick. Okay. Number one, I want to get above or below my last best seller, right? If we just do a quick check on that here, you'll see I don't want to have a stop from the time I get above that last seller to the time I get above that best seller. I do not want to stop for 11 points. As you can see, that just simply would not work out. And you see every time that we had that on Friday, it was a significant jump. And then I don't want to close by 2 ticks above my last best seller. What I want the pattern to look like. Let's say this pattern right here, I want to get above. We're up. Let's get a color we can all see. There we go. I want to get above. I want to come back and test and then take off. Additionally, since we did not get it, notice swing high, swing high, swing high, consolidation high, swing high, swing high, swing high. I would like to break a swing high before getting overly excited about getting long, right? Outside of scalping. So you have a couple of tests. The next test to figure out, are we going to turn, right, is you can use this 15. So notice, if we flip this to a 15-minute chart, just a slightly bigger perspective, because I want y'all to relax through this, right? See how much easier that chart looks on 15 minutes? You're like, yeah, why would I get long there, right? So I'd like to get above my last best seller on a 15 minutes, something that we were really unable to accomplish on Friday, right? Additionally, so what are my other important parts? I'm giving you these markers so you can go down a checklist to figure out if you want to trade, right? So I'm going to mark off how I would like to see it if I were trying to figure out this market. And I'm going to do this quickly. Same thing applies to NQ as it does to ES. Okay. First hour low, first hour high. If we're going to reverse, we're probably getting above the first hour high to start with today, right? At least from reverse back into Friday's area where we're interested, getting above. So Friday, we never even bothered testing IB low. We IB high. We tested IB low, right? Traded below, trapped back in, popped. Where did we come back to? The 50-60 retrace. Notice we could not even make it back, or we just fell short of the 50 retrace. Now, this is unusual behavior. The only time this happens where we do not test the 62 as well as the 50 is when the market is extremely weak. So this morning, after your first hour, right, draw 50-60 back, okay? do we get above that 50-60? If we break IB low, draw 50-60 back. If we don't get back to that 50-60, you're probably in a downtrend for the day, right? Until a 50-60 of some type of swing is met. These are easy metrics to meet to figure out whether you're in a free fall or not, so you don't get your butt kicked on the way down is in case we melt. Okay, so right now we're down 13 and 33, and obviously I'm burning the first half hour most likely anyways, right? I'm certainly not calling anything in the first half hour. It would make no sense. Let's go to the charts real quick. Okay, so I put this out last night. We're going to go through ES, then we're going to do NQ, and I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. Race all lines. Weekly areas that matter. Okay, that's what this little section is going to be called. Weekly areas that matter. We are currently trading at 27.43, as you can see. This is an RTH chart. Does not include the ETH or the overnight session. You can see here, this area right here is very key. 27.4875 to 27.4575. If you look from last night at that area, that 48.75 to 45.75, let's go to overnight. Didn't mean to do that. Just destroyed that chart. That really sucks. Hold on a second here. Okay. If you look, this is the 45 to 48 right here. 45, 48 roughly. Okay, you will see the market sliced through it like a hot knife through butter. Backside tested, rejected, got on top, backside test, push, backside test, push, came underneath, and we just backside tested. I would put 27.48 getting above is a pretty critical thing this morning. If we don't get above 27.48, so I'm already writing down in my notes, 27.48 must get above. And hold. So now I have a place to look on the chart going, hey, if we're above 27.48, we might be able to push. 27.60 becomes a pretty important area right above that. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Let's go back over to this chart. Okay. Next, below that, this is a weekly. That 27.27 to 27.24. If I had to hang my hat on anywhere where I thought we would reverse out of, that is where I think we will. That is where I think we'll reverse out of. That is a weekly naked volume point of control and a naked TPO point of control. We may dance around it. That's also a very big stretch, right? So currently we're down 15 at 27.41, right? If we tag on roughly another 20, that puts us down 40 points. Okay, now that even if this fails, it's important to get back above this level to push back above. Next, please put your eyes on this area right here. See this? There's a hole in the weekly gap because there was a gap right in there. See that right there? Markets like to fill gaps. This is the next area I'd focus on right there. 27.18, 27.14.50. Okay. Finally, value area low. There's an anomaly here and an anomaly here, but I figure if we get all the way down here, we're coming down to the value area low. 27.05, right? And then value area high. Okay, so now we have a couple of, this is gets a little bit tricky. There's no untested value area high from here. This was the old value area high at 27.62. That lines up with that 27.60.62. And there's a low volume node on the weekly right in there. See that? Okay. That should be our upside resistance just past the gap fill. We got to get above that to come in and repair the chart. And then last week's value area low, okay, 28.06. Okay. So you have to get above 27.62 to even come back and test this 28.06. I don't expect this to get tested. And there's a pronounced low volume node right here at 27.78. If we get above 27.60, I imagine that's where we'll end up getting halted. That's a pretty big stretch from where that's 40 up and about 1%. Is that 1%? What's 1% move? 27, 20, less than that. So what's 1% up on 27.43, guys? Can someone do some quick math? Is that 30 points? Everyone knows my math's awful. Okay, no one's going to answer me on the 1%. I believe it's 27 points, right? So if we take 27.42, we get flat and we add 1% for the day, right? So that's 27. Let's add 14. That's 37.50. So that gets us flat back to the close, and we add 27 points. 27.60 plus 30 puts us at 27.90. That puts somewhere in this neighborhood up here as a 1% up move, if I have that correct. I may not. Okay, so those are the critical areas. If we get below 27.05, it's Armageddon anyways. The obvious area to find support is right there at 26.91 to 26.88. Any questions from the weekly, guys? Okay, no questions from the weekly. Let's roll on. So if you look and we flip this back to a daily chart, okay, very, 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 very important. Can we get back above Friday's value area low at 27.70.50? If we get above 27.60, 27.70.50 is value area low. If we can't get back above it, look for a push back down. Consolidating underneath it, look for a push back down. Trap back in, expect a push up. We want to see it hold if it traps back in, right? We want to see that 27.60 go to 27.70. I'd expect rejection there. First time in, everyone's going to have their eyes on it. If we can get above, you can then trap the late shorts and push back up. Notice that the volume point of control and TPO point of control are way spread apart. So the volume point of control is right down here at 27.60. The TPO point of control is 27.95. I don't expect to make it back to the TPO point of control. I do expect them to dance around this 27.60 and have it be quite volatile in that area. Okay. Remember Friday, the weak sister in this thing was ES, not NQ. NQ was stronger because of Amazon alone. If Amazon gets a wave of selling, I thought NQ should have been down 300 points on Friday relative to the selling. NQ is the only thing that got held up was by Amazon, okay? If it catches up, look for a big down rotation in NQ, right? That's all I'm saying. And then once we get it, we're looking for panic at the lows. Those are the key levels. And then you want to note, okay, so the areas of note below, 27.33.75, 27.25.25, 27.10. Let me make sure I have all these correct here. I know I have them correct because they're on the charts, but 27.10 and then 27 and 26.90.50. All of those are key areas. If you get below 26.90 for some reason, which let's not even talk about it. It's more than 50 points down, right? It'll be super ugly. That's another 700 points down. I'll come back to the chart and get areas below there. Okay. I'm standing down the first 30 minutes to let them do whatever they have to do in the insanity, right? Let me roll over to NQ really quick. Key areas on NQ for the week. I'm just throwing out the numbers. Y'all write them down. We'll do the analysis later. NQ, H8. Race all lines, weekly. Okay. We are currently trading 67.16. Last week's value area low, 69.05. Expect responsive sellers there. When we get there, 69.42 to 69.47. For all you bulls who think we're going right back to the top, you got to clear 69.39 to 69.48, or you got nothing, right? You have a huge chunk of sellers, buyers that are trapped up here. This is overhead resistance. There's no question about it. There's a clear anomaly on the weekend, on the weekly at 68.46 to 68.38. Okay. You obviously have the gap fill. Areas below. So those are the, if I had just key areas, oh, and there's one more, I would note the low volume area right here where we broke down. That is, I'm not sure I have this on the chart. I should make sure. 68.69 to 68.82. That's a low volume node. We like to reject out of low volume nodes, just like we rejected up off the weekly low volume node. Now let's go back and look the other way. What's on the downside, right? So here's my concern. See this over here? This is, okay, so let's cover this. This is the, see this weekly low right here? We tagged it last week, right? That's 67.80. So right now, Globex high on NQ is, I need to put that in, 67.63. We couldn't make it back to that 67.80. You'll want to mark that down as a hurdle from this value area, right? We have a, if we look a little further to the left, right, we have a value area high at 67.09. If you look at Globex low, I think we just traded underneath it and then traded right back above. We traded 66.87. Then we traded obviously back above because we pushed from there, right? Back up to 67.14. That's a key area. The point of control down here, 66.88. If I was going to focus on one area to find responsive buyers this morning, that is it. That is 89 to 80. Again, Globex low landed at 87. Okay, so you see they already respected that in Globex. I would expect them to respect it again in the RTH. That's where I want, if I'm going to take a just shot in the dark, that is where I'm taking a shot in the dark. After that, the value area low, 66.46. Then the volume point of control and the TPO point of control at 66.02 to 65 to 65.86. Those are the primary areas I'm interested in. So let me repeat those again. On the downside, 67.09 is important. 66.89 to 66.80. This is an important Globex low because it is off a weekly TPO and volume point of control that has been untested. Below that, 66.46, 66.02 to 65.86 after that. Those are the most important areas on NQ's charts today. No exception to that whatsoever. Okay. And then you have the flip side of that, which is getting back underneath last week's low, which is 67.50. That's a must, right? So those are the key areas above and below. Any questions about those? Thank you, Dan. Okay, let's get Globex high and low before I forget. I probably will be looking, now that I mention it, if we can get a test into Globex low, I probably will give that a shot on reduced size. Considering that's a weekly, I want to be there. Let's get rid of this. Globex low. So let's do ES first. 33 was Globex low. Okay, that made sense. When the market gets wild like this, you want to leave all the other cute little things alone and just go for the big support areas, right? Because that's what you're going to need to make sure it sticks and you don't get repeatedly stopped. Globex high was right at the open, 27.57. Right into last week's low. And then let's do NQ. And then I'm going to step away, refresh my coffee, and be back ready for the open. So NQ goes, here, we'll flip these. And then again, the advanced decline ratio was 0.12 Friday. You might want to see that it gets better than that today before you start trying to fish reversals out of it. Let's see where we are here. And then let's insert symbol. You know the tick's going to be huge negative out of the gate, right? And then NQ. Globex low. Looks like they're going to go and test that Globex low pretty quickly. 66.87. I'm probably fishing down there, just so you know. And Globex high was just stay calm. We'll have plenty of opportunities today. 67.63. What was it? 67.63 1/4. I'll be okay, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're about to open. Guys on YouTube, I'm going to drop off because it's going to be quick. I'll leave it up for a couple of minutes just so we can get the opening indications going, and then we'll go from there. Let me flip over my charts to what I am using to trade with. There's my 5 range. And there's my 5-minute. And we are open. So again, that 88 is a really important critical area. Can't state it enough. We go right down to it. Look at that. There's that 88. Right in and straight out. That's that weekly support, guys. That is a huge number. Huge. Where are we on ES? There's NQ. Why don't I have ES up here? Is it just not updating? Control R. $27.40. Oh, that's why. There we go. Right out of the white zone on ES. There goes NQ. Like I said, that was a huge, huge number there. We'll see if they can hold it. So, looking at my chart, trying to see where the selling balances are on this thing. Wow, all the way down that we had nasty selling balances. So that first bounce made sense. Now let's see what they do with it. Did anyone grab 67.88? That was pretty much as close to perfect as it gets. Why am I missing something here? I do not have any buy imbalances on the way up here so far. Just a few. I mean, just a hair. No one's panicked in. They definitely panicked out. They were selling balances all the way down. Spread this out. I want to do this. Chart, duplicate chart. NQ still pushing. We'll see if they can push for a reversal. Let me do this. I did take 88 out of the gate, by the way, just so everyone knows. So I've already unloaded most of it. I'm leaving a small trailer with a stop all the way back at break even. But like I said, I was probably going to do that out of the gate if they tagged it. That was an important area. I should have tagged DS as well, but I didn't. Remember, getting underneath your last best seller, your last best buyer. Chart, attach chart. Okay, there we go. No stacked buying balances yet. Still working on that. This is resistance in general up here. Remember, Globex high was all the way back over here. We're pushing into these white zones. I expect it to be very fast. Sure thing. Bill, if you'll keep me updated, if you see anything, I'd appreciate it. I know it's fast, so if you don't see it or you don't have time, no worries. Wow. I will attempt a short against 67.19 against 67.27 if it comes back up. Just FYI. This is early still, very early in this game, okay? So just be aware. If they'll push it back to 67.20, I'll take a shot against the high of the day. And guys on YouTube, thank you for joining this morning. They're not going to let me have it. You should have seen the sellers that came in was just hard on the bid. 67.20, I will give that a shot if they'll push it up. 19.20 right in there. And that's against the high of the day. Damn, almost, but not quite. Need another push. Did I get it? Not yet. Missed by tick. Got it now. Now we find out if I pay the pain or not. They paused it there. See how far I can get them to push it. Scale some right here. That was quick. That was a 15 scale, by the way. Sorry, I know I'm moving fast, guys. I can't do anything about that as far as terms of how fast it's moving. 6710 is my next scale. Stop's now brought to break even if I don't get the 6710. So they're probably going to stop me right here. I'm just behind 19 to get behind that high volume node. I'm trying to scale out 6710. What are they going to bring it against? I need to get over to YouTube, guys. I will end this broadcast here.